This video is about why hearing your name wrong, or mixing up other people's names, might mean more than just getting older. Most people believe that mishearing a name or mixing up words is a harmless sign of aging. We laugh it off and say, "Oh, I'm just getting forgetful." But here's the surprising truth. Consistently mishearing names can actually be an early warning sign that your brain is struggling with processing sounds and language, and it could be a clue to deeper cognitive changes. A study published in the Journal of Neuroscience found that certain types of auditory misperceptions are linked to early changes in the brain's auditory and memory networks. In other words, it's not just about your ears, it's also about how your brain understands what your ears hear. In this video, you'll learn why this happens, how it connects to memory and brain health, and most importantly, what you can do to protect your cognitive function if you've started noticing this in yourself or a loved one. Why do we hear names wrong? Hearing is more than sound waves entering your ears. Your brain has to decode those sounds, match them to words, and attach meaning. When you hear your name, your brain does something special. It lights up areas involved in attention, self-awareness, and memory. This response is so strong that even in deep sleep or under anesthesia, many people still react to their name. But as we age, two things can interfere with this process: changes in hearing ability and changes in how the brain processes sound. Age-related hearing loss, called presbycusis, affects about 1/3 of people over 65. It often starts with difficulty hearing high-frequency sounds, like consonants. This can make names sound muffled or similar, especially in noisy settings. But even when hearing tests show normal results, the brain's ability to quickly and accurately process speech can decline. This is called central auditory processing disorder. It means your ears might be fine, but your brain struggles to keep up with fast or unclear speech. Why names matter so much? Names are personal and deeply linked to memory. When you hear your own name, it triggers an emotional and cognitive response. That's why hearing it wrong can feel so unsettling. If you often mishear or mix up names, it can be an early sign that your brain is having trouble with auditory memory, the ability to remember what you hear. In a study from Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience, researchers found that difficulty recognizing familiar names in conversation was strongly linked to early mild cognitive impairment, a stage between normal aging and dementia. This doesn't mean every slip is serious, but frequent, consistent issues are worth paying attention to. Other clues to watch for. Along with mishearing names, you might notice asking people to repeat themselves often, trouble following conversations in noisy places, feeling mentally tired after social gatherings, confusing similar-sounding words or names, missing details in phone calls or group chats. These signs suggest that your brain might be working extra hard to process sounds, and using energy it usually saves for memory and focus. How it affects memory and brain health. When the brain has to strain to understand speech, it leaves fewer resources for storing information. This is sometimes called the cognitive load theory. If you've ever felt exhausted after trying to hear someone at a loud party, you've experienced this firsthand. Over time, this extra strain can contribute to social withdrawal. People start avoiding group settings because it feels too hard to keep up. Less social interaction means fewer opportunities to exercise memory, attention, and language skills, all critical for brain health. Social isolation is a known risk factor for cognitive decline and dementia. So this isn't just about hearing, it's about keeping your mind active and engaged, the link to dementia. Several studies suggest that untreated hearing problems may accelerate cognitive decline. A large analysis in The Lancet identified hearing loss as one of the biggest modifiable risk factors for dementia. Researchers believe that when hearing deteriorates, the brain reorganizes itself to cope. Parts of the brain that used to handle sound start to shrink or get repurposed for other tasks. First, don't ignore hearing changes. Get your hearing checked regularly, even if you think it's just a small issue. Audiologists can help identify subtle hearing or processing difficulties before they become major obstacles. Second, stay socially active. The more you use your listening and memory skills, the stronger those networks stay.